masks don't work during pandemic, and that is my argument as of right now. First, they don't cut off the outside air. If coronavirus is really out there, I'm not saying I don't believe in it. I'm just saying if a person really was infected and it's actually in the air, right? What are these masks really doing to prevent you from catching it? Because truthfully, you're still inhaling that outside air that is literally there. Or because if you're not, shoot, I'm very curious. How in the world are you breathing right now? The second thing is this is pretty much more on the imagination side because truthfully, all of this is just what I believe is going on. But most of my videos are pretty much imaginative, anyways. So I'm pretty much just going at it from there. The other thing is, one, although you're still breathing in the outside air, the masks make it hard to breathe. Like, you're low key kind of suffocating, especially if you go into like high paced work, stuff that requires you to exert yourself more. At this point, I don't even think you're breathing in clean air anymore. You're just breathing in your own air that you breathed out. And if that doesn't affect you, then truthfully, being locked in a box, just constantly breathing, I don't really think you should die because you're breathing in oxygen or whatever, and then you just breathe it right back out, or however the process goes. I don't know. And I don't really trying to get too much into that either. If anything, I feel like the mask pretty much just became more of a trend, a fashion, but health wise, no, I don't really believe it does anything. You're still breathing in the outside air and you're pretty much just suffocating yourself. Those are the only two things that you pretty much get out of the mask. Pretty much a placebo, just to make sure you don't act out of line or whatever. But it kind of did, because now folks are just split up into believing either the mask work or it don't work. And as you can tell, I'm on the other. I'm just not doing crazy crap because I still wear my mask. I just don't believe it works. If anything, I feel like the other guidelines to help prevent coronavirus are actually more useful than that mask. I'm not saying I don't believe in the coronavirus, because I very much do. I'm just believe that the masks don't really do anything. Like keeping each other 6 feet apart, I believe. But I also believe that the whole 6 feet apart thing doesn't really work much if you're in, let's say you go out to eat in a restaurant or whatever, right? So you got all these other folks coming in and out, in and out, in and out. Then you got the folks who stay in there because, they work there, so they have to be there, right? And that's like a confined space. I don't know how fast the air in there is being filtered or cleansed or whatever. Don't know any of that. But yeah, so if a person really did have coronavirus and they're over here just breathing in and stuff, keep in mind this is a restaurant. Once you sit down and start eating, they allow you to take your mask off. So it's just like, it's in the air. So the ones who are pretty much higher at risk are the ones that got to serve you. Then you, the customer who's going in and out, being served by these folks who are pretty much just living in this air, don't know how fast the air is being cleansed. So it's just like anyone can get it. It could just spread to you as well, right? So it's just like restaurants are a no-go. And then you got movie theaters. You go into a movie theater and you just chill in there for like what? Hour 30, hour 15, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long the movie is, just constantly breathing in that good old air, right? And then you got these different show times from morning to night. Even if you are on a curfew, that air, I don't know about it, but yeah, I don't trust that either. You know what I'm saying? And like that 6 feet apart thing, yeah, I guess it works if, the air itself is more opened. And what I mean by that is just like, for example, let's say Hooters, right? Another restaurant. It has an outside portion. So basically you can just sit outside. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Because you know what I'm saying? Or more how I feel is that the air is pretty much being filtered on its own naturally. There's vast space, so much air outside, different than being inside where it's just like everybody's just huddled together. Even if you are skipping from table to table, it doesn't change the fact that you're still all breathing in that same air. Because, we learned in science class when we were younger what diffusion was and all that other stuff like osmosis. Main concept is that If you spray Febreze in one corner of the room, why is it that you can smell it at the other? Because it spreads. Case point. If Corona really was a poison that could literally just make you drop dead right then and there, I'm pretty sure these masks they ain't gonna cut it. They're just not 6 feet apart. So. Depending on the situation, where you at, where you going, place, the type of event, that kind of stuff. Then you just got wash your hands, which folks should have been doing like since the longest, but folks don't tend to do that anymore. Just use the bathroom, go on out. You don't know how many times I have literally been in the bathroom and literally seen either some old white man or just some young dude just not wash their hands. It's mostly the old white person though. I mean, like, not saying it's like the only old white person, but whenever I'm in the bathroom, it usually tends to be them. Every so often, I probably see like some other folks, mostly the folks that actually work there too. Yeah, that's another thing. Mostly the folks that actually work there really don't be washing their hands, and I did be looking at a sign that says employees must wash their hands. They don't wash their hands. But out of all the guidelines and all that stuff, I feel like the mask literally does not play a part. Everything else, yeah, it does it. Especially with the curfew, prevent folks from staying out, and all that stuff. Basically, if you're gonna be outside, go outside and do what you need, not what you want. Come back inside. Stay healthy. Get your vitamins. Get your fruits. Keep your immune system up. Stay safe. That type of stuff. Other than that, no. The mask does nothing. Literally nothing. About as useless as Sakura at the very beginning of Naruto. She's just there. That's what that mask is. That mask is really just there. Just chilling, having fun, enjoying the adventure. Taking life by the reins. Ish. But if you don't get the video at this point, then I might as well just come out and say, like, yo, the mask don't do nothing, man. Like, straight up just don't do nothing. It's like the mask is literally just like every anime character that has literally sat on the sideline and did nothing. Background characters. That's what a mask is. A mask is a background character that's getting his little moment of fame in this pandemic. That's all it is. All right, I'm done.